the number of Afghan civilians killed or wounded in the country's conflict has increased by nearly a third in the first half of this year, according to the United Nations. UN envoy Staffan de Mistura released the data in Kabul.
The human cost of this conflict is unfortunately rising. The civilian casualties are increasing substantially.
The UN says anti-government forces in Afghanistan fueled the spike. Bombings and other attacks by militants were responsible for 76% of the nearly 1,300 civilian deaths and 2,000 civilian injuries. In contrast, civilian deaths caused by Afghan and NATO-led forces dropped in the first 6 months of the year. The report says Afghan and international forces were responsible for about 12% of civilian casualties, with airstrikes by drones a leading cause of deaths and injuries. White House spokesman Bill Burton says reducing civilian casualties is important to the U.S. mission in Afghanistan.
We are going to continue to make sure that the Afghan people know that we're committed to rooting out insurgency, dismantling al-Qaeda, and doing it in such a way that is as safe as possible for the people of Afghanistan.
Afghan presidential spokesman Wahid Omar says despite the decline in casualties caused by Afghan and NATO-led forces, those casualties are unacceptable.
Our motto is protection of the Afghan people, providing protection to the Afghan people. Any single case of civilian casualties is not justifiable on our side.
He criticized the war effort, this time in Dari.
Jang bo terrorism, darija.
The war against terrorism will not lead to a result here. The bases of terrorism, sources of terrorism, the training and equipping of terrorism, all the sources which cause terrorism to increase in the region are outside of Afghanistan.
Afghan President Hamid Karzai has questioned the willingness of Western allies to go after terrorist sanctuaries in neighboring Pakistan. Thousands of civilians have died during the 9-year war in Afghanistan. The UN says even children have become casualties of war. 55% more Afghan children were killed or wounded in 2010 compared to the same period last year. Carla Babb, VOA News.
So we can talk some more.